Hi guys, we're at the end of the manufacturing stage. Our PCB is green, it got its legend.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we are going to make the routing and separate the PCB from the board. We can do that by routing, viscoring, or even punching. But first, we will have a look on the routing process.
The purpose of the routing process, also known as profiling, is to cut each circuit board out of the production panel. Indeed, even if all the circuit boards are on the same panel, they do not necessarily all belong to the same customer. The operator stacks up to 4 panels, in the same way as for the drilling process. In this case, the routing process requires a milling machine and bits with a different number of heads, 1, 2, 4, or 6 heads. Usually a 2 mm diameter routing tool is used for a standard product with a tolerance of about 0.2 millimeters. We can go further with a smaller routing tool, 1.6 millimeters, or even 1.2 millimeters in diameter. But for these special cases, we can only use one panel at a time. Inner and outer contours of the PCB are created during this process. At the same time, the boards are cleaned to ensure that no dust remains as a result of this operation. At the end of the cycle, the operator removes all the parts from the table, and the circuit boards are now depaneled. Depending on the customer's request, the boards can also be milled without being depaneled. The operator monitors the dimensions of the milling process with an optical camera to ensure that the inner and outer contours have been milled properly and have not affected the circuit. After routing, V-scoring or V-cut is used to pre-cut the PCB on the customer panel so that the boards can be separated after the populating stage. This is the main objective of this step. The boards are then easy to snap.
Loïc, I was wondering, is it easy to snap the board?
Well, that's the point. In fact, it can be too smooth or too hard. This is why IPC creates very tight tolerance, and we need to check that very, very often. Do you want to have a try?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's pretty easy.
Once completed, controls are carried out with a V-cut tester to measure the V-cut depth according to the Gerber file.
So, after this, we can have counterbore, countersink, or chamfer. The routing can be also made by punching, but this is mostly for the consumer market. So we could see that on another video process series.
The next process is one of the most impressive ones. How can we check thousands of electrical connections in less than a minute? I am right?
You are right, and this is an amazing process.
Stay tuned.